So what's going on? There's enough of the same wavelength of dissonance as there is resonance. The dissonance bringing up and moving out, and the resonance bringing up and moving in. So it's bringing a lot of anxiety, for some a lot of uncertainty, confusion. For some it feels like a stagnation, that situations are in a holding pattern, are stagnant. And to some degree they are. Imagine moving furniture in a room through a doorway. Let's say you have a big credenza or a big desk, right? And you have that, and the person on the other side of the doorway has just as big of an object to move in. So energetically, you can't, right? Two objects of mass cannot occupy the same place, right? Until there's a shift in frequency. Something happens, maybe it dissolves, maybe one gets raised up and one gets lowered, or you wait, or one has to pass more. One will, and that's where we're at. We're actually at a tipping point. And as I've been sharing in my teleworkshops and in my blog, that October, in my Facebook writings, October is a turning point. It's going to be a huge turning point. Now, which way does it go? You see this collectively in the political scene across the country, and definitely in the United States. United States being a Cancerian country, is definitely getting played on, if you look at astrologically, with Pluto and Capricorn and Uranus and Aries, right? And then we have that grounding energy of Saturn right now in Sagittarius, which is not such a happy placement there, but think about it in a way. That grounding force, Saturn representing earth, form, patience, it's learning lessons. It's time, energy, patience, perseverance, keeping at something, learning, working through something. And it's in Sagittarius, which is wants freedom, but is also of higher principles, higher psychological or philosophical principles. Those are trying to get grounded right now. That's what's trying to happen collectively as well as individually with all of us. So a lot is coming up. Now, is the turning point of October ushers, and it starts in October to the end of the year. It'll go into the next gateway, which is November to January. It's ushering in a new energetic patterning. So those of you that are sensitive or empaths are feeling this already. Nausea. I've had nausea. I've just really eating a lot of soups and hardly eat, and then there's stuff coming up in my own personal life that I've had to deal with. So that's been coming up to come up and move out. And what you can do about it is be with it. It's, we are all energy anyway. That's primarily, if you look at that, I said in my past teleworkshop, solar power, and that still applies. If any of you want that, just shoot me an email, is to be present with what you're feeling. Talk about it, journal about it, but get the body moving, stretching, moves, if you can, walking, aerobics, things that are just going to get the energy moving. This is what's needed. It's not to be too much in the head about it, because you really can't articulate it, because we've never had this happen before. This is a totally new energetic patterning. And that's why it feels strange to the stomach. It's like, I can't quite stomach this. We've always had one predominating energetic matrix, if you will, design, system of being. That's being uprooted. And the new one coming up has been coming up, like a little coming up through the dirt, through the soil, little by little, and now it's sprouting more, and there's a leaf coming out. And it's like, oh, it's breaking ground. It's breaking ground with the old paradigm. So now we're really starting to see the changes, and you're going to be seeing a lot of, and I again talked about this in my solar, teleworkshop, also in Awakenings. I talked about this, I think three weeks ago, about the glamour realm and the cult of personality. I talked about the eclipses and what that brings in, and then the following show. So that show, and then the one after it. Those, if you want to get some really good information and what to do, how to align with this, because what to do is align with the energy. And as we move into being more connected to our soul, more soul aligned, and living from the soul, it is about learning how to connect with these energies, how to see and feel ourselves more as energy and align our individual flow with what's happening, not to resist it. That's always the ego, but that's part of change, is resistance. But eventually it's kind of like a leaf, going down the middle of a river. It doesn't resist where the current is taking it. And when we move to that higher level of trust, which is love, light, and wisdom, then we will trust the current where things are taking us, because it's really us taking us, an aspect of us, right? The God is, I am aspect of us. So